Welcome everyone to our weekly video. I am here in the Daily Mass Chapel on Monday, August 24th, and you can see right behind me, they're installing all of the framework that's necessary for the installation of our very large stained glass window. So next week, there's going to be another video that we'll have to explain that. But for right now, I want to introduce you to a longtime parishioner of ours. His name is Mike Watson. And Mike has been in the parish for
60 years.
Almost 60 years. And he was also the chairman of our finance council back before I was born.
Before they caught me.
Before they caught me. So Mike and his wife, Donna, have been in the parish for a long time. And Mike has something fun to share with all of you. Go ahead, Mike.
Father, thank you very much for having us this morning. And before we go any further, allow me to wish you a very belated happy birthday.
Thank you.
Which I understand was on the 23rd.
Yesterday, yes. It was just yesterday.
Yes.
I had a lot of cake and ice cream yesterday. So.
Well, we came to the parish back in '53, I guess, from Patterson, part of the Great Migration that we had from the urban areas during that period of time. You know, the war was over at that point. The economy was good. People were migrating to the country, and Wyckoff certainly had a lot of attributes that other areas didn't have. We were, as an example, 700 feet higher than Hawthorne or Ridgewood. And in those days, absent air conditioning, that was a very important attribute to have. St. Elizabeth's Church on Clinton and Everett Avenue was the only church in the area. There was no Catholic church in Franklin Lakes or Midland Park or Oakland. And as a result of that, the parish grew beautifully and very quickly. So that everybody outgrew the church by 1954-55, when we had a fundraiser to build a new church that was acquired by the Archdiocese, and Father Benignus Parkins, who was OFM, who was our only priest for the better part of 20 years.
Wow.
He came in 47 and left in the 60s. And he was a gracious old man with a lot of humor, a bit rotund because he had a penchant for ice cream.
Oh,
And
I got to be careful.
And when the youngsters of the parish would sit the friary, because we only had one priest, and someone needed to answer the phone because we didn't have answering
machines, yeah.
anything like that. And as a result, I would sometimes sit the friary, and our reward was ice cream.
Ooh, okay.
Father Benignus had a great penchant for ice cream.
Gotcha.
In mid-50s, I guess, they converted the church itself, which contained this wonderful stained glass window, to the CYO Center. And the CYO Center all of a sudden took on a life of its own, socially. It was run by the parish. It was a magnet for all of the youngsters, the young community within not only Wyckoff, but certainly Franklin Lakes and Oakland and Midland Park. And as a result of that, the volume of parishioners in St. Elizabeth's grew exponentially. And it was wonderful. And they used that as a CYO center, which had a lot of social benefits, and frankly religious benefits as well. Every time we had a dance or a social or a beefsteak dinner or what have you, people would look at this window and would reflect literally on the window and realize the blessings that came from the church, the community of the church, as well as the spirituality of the church. When the Franciscans...
I'm going to pause you one second because I see this thing moving behind us. Mike, let's carry this over to where it's going to be installed here so we don't get run over by the thing here. And this actually, and I'll let Mike continue his story, Mike and I are just going to lift this up for a second. This window will actually be right here. So when you walk into the Daily Mass Chapel, that's going to be what you see. We're also going to backlight it, so if you happen to be driving by at night, you can also see it. But if you could tell us a little bit, how did your family get this? Yeah.
The Franciscans were always having charitable events, as all parishes do. But when they accepted a new assignment from the Archbishop, they decided to have one final event, which included an auction. And there were many things that they auctioned off, some of which had great appeal, some of which did not. But the final item on the auction was this window. And for myself and for Donna, who also sat on the parish council, we decided that we really wanted to pursue this and bring it to our family so that we could preserve it for the entire parish. And we did. We prevailed in the auction. We brought it home, and Donna's Uncle Al Benz, took the window, and he's an artist, and re-leaded all of the glass where he could, and fixed some of the glass itself, which continues to this day. And as a result of that, when it came back and he put this protective frame around it, we had it in places of honor in our home for the last 40 years.
Wow.
And when Father Stephen announced we were going to have a new chapel here, the Daily Chapel, we said, what a great opportunity to return this to the parish of St. Elizabeth. We were nothing really more than stewards of this for a period of 40 years, but nonetheless, it really belongs to the people of St. Elizabeth Parish. That's where it really should be. So when Donna and I spoke with Father Stephen and said the window was available, he sort of said, yeah, that's wonderful. From the old church? And I said, from the first church.
I didn't believe him.
And then he really became interested. So we brought it over, and we are very grateful, Father.
I'm very grateful to you.
You have been able to accept this.
Thank you.
You know,
and let me say my part of it. So when Mike told me, I thought to myself, well, from the old church, I know the one stained glass window, and I said, I know where it is now. It's over here. And then I was so intrigued, I said, well, let me see it. And when I saw it, I have to say, I was floored. And I knew immediately where exactly we were going to put it. So this, from our original first church, the image of the Blessed Sacrament, the Eucharist, is going to be the very first thing you see. And then right underneath it, as I've shared, I think, with some of you in other videos, we're going to have the tabernacle from 1954 right here. So 1902, 1954, and then the altar is going to be from our 1992 baptismal font that's not going to be turned over. So when anyone enters this church, you're going to see our history in a perfect line coming right out to you. So I am so grateful to you. Mike has just been a wealth of information. And I wanted to touch on one other thing you said, which is true, because we as St. Elizabeth's, we are the mother church to all the other communities he mentioned. It was from us that Franklin Lakes was founded as a parish, Most Blessed Sacrament. It was from us that Oakland was established as a parish, Our Lady of Perpetual Help, and then Midland Park as well. So in a certain sense, we're kind of like, we're like the little mother church here on this corner of Bergen County. So I can't thank you enough on behalf of all of the parishioners, Mike, and to Donna as well, to your whole family. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and thank you again for accepting this from the Watson family. And it's full circle at this point. It's come home.
Yeah, amen, amen. Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you so much. Let's just say bye to all the parishioners. Thanks for tuning in. And when you see Mike and you see his wife, Donna, please thank them very much. This is an amazing gift. Thank you.
See you in church.
See, yes, he's got my line.
Oh.
See you in church. Take care. Bye-bye.